How's it going, everybody? It is iVisual. I hope you guys are having a beautiful day, and welcome back to another Pokemon Ultra Sun and Moon Wi-Fi battle for the Uber tier. So I'm going to be using a very interesting team today made by Lemon, and it has a Waterium Z Modest Arceus. So Calm Mind on there, hits like a truck with Hydro Cannon as well. Yeah, to rate my team on Smogon, I'll link that down below as well. It's really cool. And then we have a max defense Geomancy, Power Herb, Xerneas. You know, you can't go into the Uber tier without that bad boy. Gotta make like 100 videos of that, right? And then a Pikachu, light, I think it's Light Ball, pretty sure. But anyways, he brought in his Necrozma Dusk main. That looks to be a Spadef one because it lived a +1 Hydro Cannon Waterium Z. That was like, wow. Yeah, it's called Light Ball. And then I have a Choice Scarf Kyogre with Modest Nature, so unfortunately my opponent does have like Primal Groudon. So unfortunately I do get Toxic after I don't knock out the Necrozma Dusk main. I have Earth Power, so I can just go for that. And also I have Magic Coat on this Arceus as well, so it comes in handy if your opponent wants to get a Prox or something like that. So in comes Yveltal, I just knock it out with a Hydro Cannon. Gonna one-shot that real easy, like there's no way you can live that. I could have missed though, 90% actually. In comes the Salamence, I have to recharge, I can't switch, so Salamence gets some free setup, but that's fine because I have a Ditto, so I don't even care to be honest. It would just suck that if he stays in regular Salamence, but he actually Mega Evolves, because I think if he stayed in regular Salamence, and he wouldn't give me the, you know, his ability, and then I don't think a +1 Double Edge can knock him out, and I'll just be a regular Salamence. But he Mega Evolved and knocks me out. So now Ditto can just come in, copy his stats, and I can outspeed him because I'm Choice Scarf Ditto as well, so down he goes. So pretty nice of him to do that for me and let my Ditto transform and knock him out. But he is going to have Lunala, and Lunala does have Shadow Shields, and it's just like multi-scale. You gotta get at least some type of damage with Lunala. It can't be max HP, so it's going to take any damage halved at first. So, unfortunately I don't miss it, I don't knock it out, and then Lunala knocks me out with the Moongeist Beam. In comes the Kyogre, and I am Choice Scarf, so I'm just gonna hopefully outspeed this Lunala and knock it out, but he switches into that Groudon. And Groudon is going to be immune, so I didn't want to click Ice Beam and he stayed in and lived and, you know, destroyed me, maybe. That would suck. I'd rather just try and knock out the Lunala with Water Spout. But smart of him to bring in the Groudon. So I have Kotsuni as a sack. I don't really need Kotsuni anymore. It's kind of useless. Usually Kotsuni is pretty good if I have like a sub up first, but other than that it's not good right here. So down it goes to the Focus Sash, and I gotta have to just go for a Leech Seed. Nothing really much else I can do. I could go for an Encore though and lock him into Earthquake, I guess. But I need some type of damage on it with my Pikachu, so I'm going to go into my Pikachu after this. And then go into my Xerneas and just Geomancy up. Max defense, so hopefully it'll work. So I just Endeavor, that's like my best shot of weakening Groudon with any of my Pikachu's moves. I have Focus Punch, and I have Fake Out to me. I could have faked out and then Endeavor, but oh well. It's okay. So down goes Pikachu, now in comes Xerneas, and we're just going to go for that Geomancy, and hopefully that works out. And also he's still Leech Seeded, so it's going to be nice for my Xerneas to lower his HP a little bit more and regain some of my Xerneas' HP. So we go for that Geomancy and activate our Power Herb, so it activates in one turn. And from the range that Groudon will be at after Leech Seed, hopefully my Moonblast will knock him out. Honestly, Xerneas Polky is just so dangerous, you don't even need to run a lot of speed or special attack sometimes. You just need that defense. So luckily Groudon gets knocked out by the Moonblast +2 special attack. And the rest of his team is probably going to get one-shotted as well. In comes Zygarde. That guy's going to go down in one shot. Unless you're Aura Break, maybe you could live. No, there's no way. Even though Zygarde Aura Break out can't promote you. So, next up is Lunala, and it's going to go down. There's no way it can live or even outspeed him. So goodbye, Lunala. And that is going to be a GG versus a Smasher. So, we're going to be using a different team now. And yeah, he should have not the Mega Evolve to Salamence. Maybe he was scared that he couldn't knock my Arceus out. So, Next up we got is versus Gabby over here, and this team is pretty nice. I think it's made by Vulpix. Has a Mega Venusaur. It's really cool with the Choice Scarf. Xerneas, I think you used this team before. With a defensive Ho-Oh, Dragonium Z, Naganadel, regular like Ice Beam, Toxic, Arceus Water. All the teams are in the description, by the way. So Gabby has a pretty hyper offensive team, looking to be Mega Metagross, and then 2 Dark types, Weavile and Bisharp. So it's gonna do a lot of work versus me. I don't have a good Dark resist except for Xerneas, but Bisharp's and Weavile's stab moves can do a lot. So got to be careful. And then Hawlucha is gonna be a problem as well, because once a Swords Dance is up, my team is weakened. I'll have to have like Arceus Water for it or something. Maybe Xerneas can take it. So I'm just gonna lead off with my Groudon as he leads off with Tapu Koko, and yeah, I can just go for some of my Stealth Rocks over here, or I can just go for my Percept Blades, because I don't think Tapu Koko would even want to stay in to take a ground move unless he's like Shuka Berry, but I don't think he'll live. So yeah, anyways, he switches out into Meliodas, which is going to be the Hawlucha, and Hawlucha activates his Electric Seed. I don't have much to do versus Hawlucha. I do just get my Stealth Rocks up because I kind of expected him to switch Halt, because I doubt he wants to take a ground move, but he doesn't have too much switches for Primal Groudon either way except for Hawlucha, so I kind of expected Hawlucha to want to come in there. I mean, what else is his switching? So I go to Xerneas, as Xerneas should be able to take any +2 attack from Hawlucha. He just throws off the raw high jump kick though, which is interesting. Didn't even try to set up. I guess he wants to keep his Hawlucha for later, even though he already activated his Electric Seed, so his Unburden is not going to be there for him anymore. But yeah, at least Excalibur comes out, H-Slash, and it takes that Moonblast pretty well, so it looks to be Spadef H-Slash. And I just go right back into my Groudon as he fires off Toxic, so very nice play on his part to predict me doesn't want to switch. If he didn't predict me to switch, he'd probably go for a Jar Ball or something. He should have that. I mean, those leftovers, H-Slashes too. So now he goes for a King Shield, smart play just to rack up some more Toxic damage and get some more leftovers recovery for him. Good old Toxic Stall. So he could switch out into Hawlucha again, which would kind of be annoying because my best move to hit it with is Stone Edge. So I'm going to switch out my Groudon over here because I don't want to, you know, just let Groudon get so much damage up on it. I'd rather go into my Ho-Oh, because Ho-Oh can do a lot of damage to his Hawlucha. If he does want to bring that in, I have Brave Bird and Sacred Fire. Unfortunately though, he brought in the Tapu Koko, and I was like, what? Man, I could have blew this back, unless it's Shuka Berry. I don't want to take electric moves, so I'm going to go into Venusaur as he just throws off the Thunderbolt, and Venusaur will take that pretty nicely. Venusaur is really, really special defensively. And Venusaur is pretty nice versus other Xerneases, by the way. You should keep this Venusaur healthy for other Xerneases when you play against them. Unless they have Psychic, but nobody really runs that. Like, maybe some person would, because they can hit Venusaur and Toxapex, and they want to specifically beat those guys. But you don't really run into it. So anyways, I go for Leech Seed, as I was pretty much sure he's going to switch out, as Ancient Bisharp comes out, the Bisharp, and I can't do much to Bisharp. I don't have like Aiden Power Fire or Earthquake. I just have Grass Knot, Synthesis, and Toxic on there, so the Grass Knot's pretty nice for all the heavy bulky mons in the tier. So I just go into Ho-Oh as he Swords Dances, and Ho-Oh should be bulky enough to take a hit, as he actually goes for Sucker Punch right there, so maybe he was thinking that would be a fast Ho-Oh, but I'm not. I'm like really defensive, so luckily he didn't knock off. That would have done more damage. And yeah, I think maybe Ho-Oh would have gone down to a knockoff, to be honest, because Ho-Oh is not faster than an Adamant or Max Speed Bisharp, the one I'm running at least. So anyways, in comes the Tapu Koko, and I can easily just switch out versus it because Ho-Oh is not gonna, you know, deal with a Tapu Koko, and Venusaur will deal with it. So yeah, easy switch, and plus Tapu Koko doesn't have any like pursuit moves. And Venusaur unfortunately does get the 10% chance, full pair, or you know, paralyzed right there. And in comes the Metagross, as I just go for a Leech Seed, and unfortunately I do miss the Metagross right there. So that kind of sucks. Gonna go into Ho-Oh, as Ho-Oh will hopefully dodge something, like a Meteor Mash. If that's what he wants to go for. He might try and go for the Meteor Mash and get an attack raise, but he goes for Zen Headbutt. So that kind of sucks. And he could also miss that Headbutt as well, so Ho-Oh is pretty nice, because then if he misses, I can go for Sacred Fire and knock him out. So he switches out into Tapu Koko, as I was surprised by that, because I was like, oh, I thought he was pretty dang free that he can just attack me again. I was kind of pretty much forced to sack something or switch. So I brought in Primal Groudon because maybe I can take a Zen Headbutt or two, and then maybe I could dodge as well. So he actually brought on Tapu Koko, so I was really surprised about that. He has Roost right there, which is interesting. Against my Primal Groudon, reveals he is actually Sugar Berry. Okay, so that makes sense now. But he's gonna go down to the Blades. It doesn't even matter because I max attack Groudon, and yeah, it's just too strong for you. Sorry, Sugar Berry, Tapu Koko. This is no Landorus T. This is the Primal Groudon. The like 99% usage in Ubers or something like that. I don't know. Anyways, in comes Hawlucha. I'm just gonna go right back into Xerneas as I can take any move. Acrobatics I think does do a decent amount over here. I think I'm 2 at kill with Acrobatics. No, I'm not. Okay, never mind. Well, if he was +2 that the first time, that would have done a lot, that's for sure. But he would have been able to do that because I would have just hard switched right into Xerneas, and he would have got knocked out. Either way, he sacks Hawlucha. Down it goes. In comes Metagross. I'm just going to switch out against on that because Xerneas can still do something. And yeah, just going to my Primal Groudon as I predict a Meteor Mash, and maybe he doesn't have... Oh, actually, not Meteor Mash, a Bullet Punch. Meteor Mash too because, you know, Xerneas, what are you going to do? Moonblast it? That's not going to knock it out. And I don't know if he knows what kind of Xerneas I am as well. I'm Choice Scarf Xerneas. So, anyways, I go into Ho as he's on Headbutts. I was predicting an Earthquake right there, but unfortunately that is not the case. So, I'm going to switch out my Ho because Ho is still important versus team, and I just go into my Arceus Water. Arceus Water doesn't have really anything to hit this Metagross. Like, I'm kind of have to sack something and then go into my Naganadel and Flamethrower it. Unfortunately, he does switch out, so I don't really get to weaken it. I'm still kind of iffy if Flamethrower can knock out Metagross from range attacks. But at least maybe I can get a shot at knocking out H-Slash because I need it weakened for maybe Naganadel Flamethrower as well because it can live. Or maybe Ho-Oh can deal with it, so I just go hard on Ho-Oh as he throws off Toxic again. So that's a pretty nice play. If I did want to stay in with my Arceus, but there's no reason for me to. I have nothing to do versus the H-Slash. So he can go for a King Shield over here, which is unfortunate, but at least he doesn't have a switch into Sacred Fire. He is wasting my Sacred Fires though. I'm running out of PP. I don't have much. Sacred Fire maximized with its PP is only 8, so maybe his best play would be to try and PP stall it and hope that I miss as well. But unfortunately, he is not going to dodge it, and I do get a nice Sacred Fire off, but it lives, and it doesn't even get burnt. I'm like, goddamn. And then he hits me with a Shadow Ball, but Ho-Oh's too dang bulky that I take that. And I take toxic damage too, and I'm just going to go for a recover over here. And he can go for a King Shield again, I kind of predict that. If he has Shadow Sneak, then that kind of sucks, but nobody really runs Shadow Sneak on a toxic King Shield Shadow Ball H-Slash. His last move is probably like Gyro Ball. That's what they like to run. So he goes for the King Shield, I just go for a recover right there, as that's why I predicted. Kind of risky though, I'm not going to lie, because like I said, Shadow Sneak. But he's not going to be running that. And if he Shadow Balled again, I think I would have taken it as well. Like, the first one barely did anything. So I go for another Sacred Fire, knock him out right there. And all this toxic damage doesn't really matter too much because I do have a Regenerator, so I can just switch out and regain it back. But in comes Weavile. If he does have Pursuit, that kind of does suck because then Ho was kind of there to hopefully take a hit from the Metagross and Sacred Fire it. So yeah, he does pursue me, and down goes Ho. At least I can maybe take care of the Metagross with like Naganadel after with Xerneas, after Moonblasting it. That's gonna be the plan. I just gonna have to hope that he doesn't go for Meteor Mash, get an attack raise, and then like somehow one-shots Naganadel with Bullet Punch. That's like the only way. So then comes Metagross, and luckily Weavile didn't have like Ice Shard and blew me back. If it was gonna have like a critical hit Ice Shard, I think maybe that could knock out my Xerneas from range stat. Probably not though. So he goes for the Meteor Mash, and I guess he was trying to get that attack raise. Luckily, he does not get it. And Naganadel can come in, and from the range stats, it should knock out the Metagross with the Flamethrower. So, pretty nice for me. As it was a close call, because he does have a lot of priority Pokemon, and they hit pretty hard. So, luckily, his Hawlucha was stopped immediately, because I had some pretty good answers for it. So, this is a well-rounded team. Next up, this is a team I actually made. It's like a sweep team. And it's like one of those teams where I just put random Pokemon on there. There's no real thought behind it because I was just trying to get some sweeps with these guys. So it's just like a Lead Shuckle, Sticky Web, Stealth Rock, and then like a lot of Z moves. Ghostium Z, Blacephalon, Groundium Z, Groudon. I think I had Fire Punch on there. And then Mega Metagross, Z, Celebrate Shaman, which I already used. And then Wadium Z, Manaphy, which I already got a sweep with as well. So this was kind of an old game, but yeah, still an Uber game. And yeah, looking at his team, it's very hyper offensive. Probably like spikes, Klefki, and then go. Maybe screens Klefki as well. That's what I was scared of, at least. So, usually with a Shuckle team, I just lead off with Shuckle and just try and get my sticky webs up in Stealth Rocks. That's the plan. Unless you see like a Defiance Mon, then don't get those webs up like a Bisharp. So he goes for spikes right there. I just get my sticky webs up. You already know. Whenever you see a Shuckle, you gotta get those webs up. Throws off Toxic, puts me on the timer, which is fine. I mean, usually I just final Gambits after I get my hazards up. Maybe I'll go for an Encore just in case, which I do go for an Encore versus the Klefki, just to lock itself into whatever, and then I can pretty much hopefully set up with one of my Pokemon. That's how I usually do it with one of my sweeping teams. Now, lately though, I've been using a lot of screens because, I don't know, I guess I use a lot of Sticky Web, and people want to see some difference. But now, probably they want to see Sticky Webs again, after me going for screens so much. So I don't go for Final Gamer right there. No roll points because I don't need to lose my Shuckle just yet, and I can keep it as a sack. And I don't really want Klefki to take any damage, mainly because maybe I could use that as setup fodder. And for one of my Pokemon, as you can see, I want to set up with Groudon. So he actually is Calm Mind. Tina. And I was surprised by that, especially with the Psychic as well. He should definitely be running Shadow Ball. I mean, this is kind of old team, so maybe he just didn't know. Because maybe he was just starting out with his team. And he just didn't have Shadow Ball or something. But yeah, he had Dark Pulse and Psychic. You should probably not want to run that on Giratina. It's just better to run Shadow Ball and some other move like Draco Meteor if you're running Calm Mind. But yeah, anyways, he beat my Groudon, so that's something at least. Even though I didn't have much, I had like Fire Punch and I crit it. But at least Blacephalon can come in here and I just knock his guys out with some Shadow Balls. H-Slash comes in, it's going to unfortunately take that, and Swords Dance up with its Air Balloon. And I was like, oh, so it's going to be a physical attacking H-Slash. I know that Shadow Sneak is coming, but, you know, just in case you don't have it, I'd stay in. Plus, I don't have a good switch in +2 Shadow Sneak. Maybe Manaphy could take it, but, man, I'd rather keep those guys healthy. So, bringing Manaphy over here, and I am Water Z Tail Glow, so I'm going to try and pull that off over here, as he just goes for a King Shield. I know I could take a Shadow Sneak with Manaphy, so I just don't really need to think about it too much. I don't even need a Tail Glow or go for a Z Rain Dance over here because it's a little risky to go for it against the H-Slash. As you can see, that Shadow Sneak does potentially two-shot me, so it's not smart, even if I was trying to predict a King Shield. Just make the safe Scald play. And comes Klefki. This is something I could probably set up on, unless it has like Play Rough or something like that. So goes for Toxic. I do believe I go for the Z Rain Dance over here, because I feel like Klefki is usually, yeah, I do go for the Z Rain Dance. Klefki's usually do like to have status moves, and maybe he doesn't have something to attack me with, and they usually have like Thunder Wave or Toxic, and then maybe Spikes or something like that, and then potentially he just has Screens. And with the Hydration, Manaphy's ability, when Rain is up, all that status is gone. He actually goes for another Toxic, which is weird because obviously it just healed, and it's not going to do any damage to me. And he goes for another Toxic again, but misses, so he missed 2 Toxics. But it didn't even matter because I have Hydration. I don't know why he did that though. But yeah, I just knocked him out with the Scald. In comes Mimikyu, and Mimikyu can actually be annoying if it goes for Play Rough here and then Shadow Sneak. It can actually knock me out. So I just go for a Scald, try and burn it. Maybe that can allow me to live a Play Rough then Shadow Sneak. Unfortunately, that's not going to be the case. And plus, I have to Scald to break its disguise, so nothing much else I can do. So he actually goes for a Swords Dance right there, and then Shadow Sneak, and then it didn't knock out my Manaphy. I live on 2 HP. I don't even know how. And it's Life Orb Mimikyu too. Man, Mimikyu, you trash. No, I'm just kidding. I'm sorry, Mimikyu. But +2 Mimikyu, Life Orb, Shadow Sneak didn't knock out me from that range. Oh man, I feel bad for you. Okay, Mimikyu's not bad, but Manaphy is just too bulky, I guess. Too bulky. Anyways, in comes Blaziken. It doesn't matter because I'm +1 speed, and I have the Sticky Web. So Blaziken has to get like, I don't know, 3 protects in a row to outspeed me. I'm just gonna knock him out with the Skull. It doesn't even matter. Down you go. So in comes Salamence, and I should outspeed a Salamence for sure, but I don't think I can knock it out. Maybe I can. I do knock it out. Spoiler alert. So at first I was like, can I knock you out +3? And then man, if he just one-shots it, I'm like, okay, nice, dope. Because I have Psychic. Psychic Scald comes in handy versus like everything. Sometimes you would see like Ice Beam, but then it wouldn't be a Rain Dance sets because you want to Tail Glow up and break through teams. So yeah, that's going to be it for the Uber Wi-Fi battles today. Hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure to leave a like, comment, subscribe, do your thing, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace, peace.